Hey ATAC fans, AJ here with another ATAC Syndicate video. In this production I'm going to discuss low-cost ways to get a testing and evaluation ATAC deployment started. If you're an agency that doesn't have a smartphone deployment, is strictly on iOS, or already has an Android deployment but wants options on ATAC server, then this video is for you. The first subject I'm going to cover is Android hardware. Yes, there is an iOS version of ATAC called ATAC, but it lacks many of the functions that are in ATAC. I think it's wise to compare ATAC to ATAC at some point so you're making an informed decision. So if you're on iOS now, or don't even have a smartphone program, it is my opinion to just go out and get a refurbished Android phone. Amazon, eBay, and many other online refurbished resellers have great deals on phones. You can see here on Amazon, you can get an S20 Plus for around mid $200. In my opinion, it's safe to go back to the S9 phone, which can be had for the low $100 range. This is going to save you a lot of money versus going out and getting on a new contract for a $1,000 plus phone. Once you have a couple Android devices with ATAC installed, you can simply hop on your local Wi-Fi router and you should start seeing both devices via multicast. Most Wi-Fi routers have this turned on by default. This is a great way to get started and follow some of my tutorials on how to use the tools in ATAC. For two devices to see each other, they're not on the same network, you will need to have both devices connect to a ATAC server, which we will cover later in this video. Or you can use a VPN service such as Zero Tier. When connecting to Zero Tier, either through your Wi-Fi or cellular, both devices will be connected. I don't recommend this in place of a ATAC server, but can be an easy way for individuals on separate networks to stay connected. Now let's talk about staying connected in the field. You have your Android device and don't want to pay for a new cellular plan just for this initial testing and evaluation period. If you already have an iOS phone, you could use its hotspot and connect the Android device to it. If you have a MiFi hotspot, you could do that, or you could take the SIM card out of your iPhone and put it in your Android. If you want the Android device to have its own cellular service and keep independent cellular service on your existing iPhone, T-Mobile for Government has an exclusive offer for first responders. Once registered, your agency can get free unlimited service for devices that connect as phones. If you have T-Mobile coverage in your operational area, this is definitely something to check out. We have found that the SIM cards will not work in traditional tablets. The only tablet-like device we have seen successfully connect with the SIM cards is from ATAC, which are designed for US operations. So if you also have a UAS program, this is something to think about. Now that we have hardware connectivity options covered, let's dive into ATAC server. I mentioned earlier that ATAC can operate in a peer-to-peer environment when devices are on the same network, but having a ATAC server optimizes experiences with ATAC. You won't be required to operate on a VPN, but you certainly can keep your VPN operating if you choose to do so. The ATAC server allows you to connect devices on different networks and even store information to be downloaded when needed, and allows the synchronization of data through the DataSync plugin. You have a few options for ATAC server. I'm sure I'll miss some providers on here, and this is no way an endorsement. The next thing I want to point out is the FAQ at the ATACsyndicate.org and its section on ATAC server options. The official ATAC server comes from ATAC.gov, often called the Government Off-the-Shelf or GOTS ATAC server. You must be a government entity registered on ATAC.gov to download it, and then you can choose to deploy this on your own. You could be on an on-prem environment or a cloud environment. If you're deploying this on your own, there are a couple great resources out there to help you on your way. MyTechNet has a great tutorial with in-depth explanations and diagrams. Next, you have ATAC HQ, which has a unique way of deploying ATAC server through Google Drive with some scripts. I also have a few scripts that are shared on the resources page of the ATACsyndicate.org. The next group of vendors will deploy the GOTS ATAC server for you as a software as a service model. You have Raytheon BBN, which is the vendor that builds the GOTS ATAC server for the government. They have a ATAC Cloud offering. You have VK Integrated Systems that will also deploy the GOTS ATAC server for you. You have Syzygy, which is actually the software company that builds ATAC. They also offer ATAC server as a service, and Realm Alliance. You can reach out to any of these companies to see if they might do a free trial for you. In addition to GOTS TAC server, there are two more unique versions of TAC server that ATAC can connect to. First, there is Free TAC server from the Free TAC team. The Free TAC server can deploy on your own hardware or in the cloud. It can be deployed with one line of code, and they have a YouTube video that walks you through the steps. They call this the zero-touch deployment. Next up is SIDX from PAR Government. PAR Government is a company that builds ATAC for the federal government. They have a very mature TAC server as their service model, with a nice web interface for managing the server. You can reach out to them about a free trial. Remember, if you have any questions about getting started with TAC, please check out the FAQ and don't hesitate to reach out at thetacsyndicate@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.